I was a city manager for almost 15 years in the state of North Carolina. Big shot. Broke big shot. And I didn't realize, I wasn't even broke. I was broke compared to my contemporaries. It's always in relation to what? I just didn't have any money. I was in debt. I was $48,000 in debt. Now, some people can say, oh, they love being in debt. I don't mind being in debt as long as I've got more money than I owe. You see, but then I owed more money than I had. I didn't like getting up every morning at the ringing of an alarm clock. There was many things that I didn't like. I didn't like having other people to control my life. I didn't understand why, but you see, when I went to high school, I was never taught anything about success. I didn't have a single course on success. When I went to college, I never had a single course on success. I thought I was doing good as a city manager because, I was usually the top dog. I was the top rat in the barn. I was the biggest hog in the trough. I made more money than all the other city employees made, than any other city employee made. I was broke, so that meant they had to be broke too. But I didn't have a strong why, but one thing helped me out a little bit. And there was a woman that appeared to hate my guts that lived in a town where I was a manager. Some of you folks that have life too easy, that don't have a big reason to get out and change it, may get caught under that little security blanket of failing. But anyway, I wanted to get turned loose because there I was almost 15 years as a city manager, and I still didn't have any control over my life. Other people could control me, and I couldn't control who was going to get elected to a city council, so I wanted to have me some extra income so that when I got fired, I would have something to fall back on. So that was one of my whys. Now, I don't know what your why might be, but I know this, that everybody has got to have a why. And it's going to be different from person to person. As I developed the business, as I worked hard, Peg and I went over 7,500 PV our third month in the business. And right then all I had was I wanted to make some money. I had no idea that this thing was so big that I would actually give up the job that I had worked for so many years in order to be a city manager. I thought that was a big deal at the time. I really subconsciously knew better, but at the time I thought it was a big deal. Now, I don't know what your particular why might be. For some of you already, that society is saying to you, hey, you're doing good. Don't believe them. If your family's saying, hey, you're doing good, don't believe them. If your friends are saying, hey, you're doing good, don't believe them unless all of those people are doing good too. Because it's all in relation to what? Now, my why has changed, but let me tell you how they changed. I remember when I heard some people get up in this business and say they like to get up at the crack of noon. I remember the first time I ever heard that. I said, what kind of nut would like to get up at the crack of noon? But then I started thinking, I never thought you could get up at the crack of noon. But I started thinking about it. Who in the world would get up at the crack of noon? Would I like to do that? I remember I'd lay in the bed in the morning after I heard that idea, and the alarm clock would ring at 7:30 in the morning, and I knew who wanted to get up at the crack of noon. Me. So that became one of my whys. Not that I wanted to be lazy, I wanted to be creative and productive, but I wanted to control my life. So one of my whys soon developed into the fact that I wanted to control the circumstances of my life and not let other people control my time and me. You see, because all of us are in the selling business. You have to sell to eat, don't you? Most people go up and say, hey, here I am, 5'9", 210 pounds. I'm yours for X number of dollars a week. Everything I am, you buy me. That's when you have a job. Well, it wasn't long before I knew that one of my whys was that I would never, ever again have a boss. One of my whys, why I wanted to build this business, why I wanted to be successful in business for myself, was because I wanted to look in a mirror and see the boss. I wanted my wife that believed in me to be married to a successful man, and only I could do something about it. I like to control the circumstances rather than have the circumstances control me. And I saw other people that have done that, and had done that in this business. And I started looking at them, and I looked in the mirror and looked at myself, and I said, hey, Bill, if they can do it, buddy, you can do it. And so I got a why. And one of my whys was I wanted individual personal freedom. Now, in fact, that why got so big that I'd show this business to a telephone pole if it would stand still for 20 minutes. Because I could see myself being freed from my job. And let me tell you, it happened on July the 4th, 1972, Independence Day. I got my freedom. On Freedom Day, on Independence Day in America, I became a young, free human being that was in business for himself successfully, that was making more money in his own business than he could ever make working as a city manager, even though that was a big deal profession. So I was free. I went home and took my alarm clock and stuck it down underneath the bumper of my motor home. And I got up on that bumper with my 210, put my Army combat boots on, and I jumped off. And I squished its guts all over the asphalt there and the circular drive in front of my house. And then I took my boots and I took the heels and I stomped them on the hands and on the face and on the glass that wasn't broken and all the metal that wasn't crushed up. I crushed it, and I took a dustpan and a broom and swept it up in it and threw its guts in the garbage can where it belonged, because it's been disturbing my rest for too long. Some of you say, hey, that's silly. Successful people do silly things because their why is strong enough. It's a reward situation. It's a work reward situation. My why was strong enough that I would do the work so I could experience the reward. I wanted to be free. You see, you're not going to get out and draw circles unless you got a big reason. You got a big dream. The dream gives you your why. How big is your dream? The bigger your dream, the bigger your why. Some of you single ladies in this business, somebody's going to tell you you can't do it, but one of your whys is to show them that you can. That's why I'm in it. Some of you single people in here, one of your whys should be to show them that sure, you can be in business for yourself as long as you got a body temperature of 98.6 and you got some guts and your dream is big enough. Now, we've heard all day about how to do this, how to do that, how to invite, how to contact, how to hold a meeting, how to follow up, how to follow through, how to relate to your business, how to build an organization, how to develop a personal direct distributorship, how to develop a personal group, and how to develop a large organization. You've heard all these how, but they don't amount to a hill of beans until you got your why strong and for sure so that you can identify it, so that no one can steal that why from you because it's strong enough. Maybe some of you want to one day write your boss a letter. That's one of your whys, where you say, dear boss, I love you and I enjoyed having the job these so many years. However, I am happy to inform you now that I cannot afford to work for you anymore, and I tender my resignation because I'm going to be free. That's one of my whys. Maybe some of you would say, one of my whys is I'm going to pay the price and I'm going to join Diamond Club. I'm going to be up there with those people that I admire and respect. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. That's my why. Maybe some of you are going to say, my wife and my kids deserve a beautiful home. They deserve to go traveling across the world with some of their friends, to Paris, to Rome, to Rio de Janeiro, wherever we want to go, because we're not going to be limited by the lack of money, because all money does is restrict us, and we're going to remove the restriction by having enough of the money so we can do what we want to do. That's one of the whys. One of your whys may be that you want to be respected by a lot of people. And you see, you can't be respected until you respect those first. You have to give it in order to receive it. Maybe some of you want to be admired. Maybe some of you want to be loved. But you can't have those things unless you first give them. And maybe one of the whys is you want to be important. You want to be respected. You want to be needed. You want to be a productive, creative human being. You want to make your mark in life. That may be one of your whys. And you find out that after they teach you what to do at college and you start doing it, all you do is turn around and say, is this it? Is this what I've got to do for the rest of my life? And you find out you're from nowhere. You see, success is not a destination, it's a journey. And maybe you want to have the journey just to see where it's going to take you. Because you see, all we're all really after is happiness, not making money. We're just after happiness. And we find out that a human being can't be happy unless they're in the process of true personal accomplishment. And nobody else can do that for you, just like nobody can go to the bathroom for you. You have to make your decision about success, and that's only because your dream is big enough, because your why is big enough, and then you'll take the time to learn and apply the how. Can you see yourself with an organization like this one day? Nothing but directs. One leg. Can I see this auditorium full of people? 17,000 people, all directs. One leg. I can see it. You know why? Because my why is big enough. I know why. My why is real simple. My why is I want a free country to live in. And you can't have a free country unless you have a free people. And you can't have a free people unless they control their own government, because they stop their government from controlling them, because they've got the guts, because they've got a why big enough.